I feel like those who are here, you are taming a dragon of some sort. And I feel like that dragon is fully personified. And you are in this reading, okay, this girl. And you are hurling apples, or rather than hurling, it's almost like you are showing this dragon what you're made of. Okay, because you're just like, in this illustration, the girl's lifting up the dress, and these apples are coming out of her dress, which is really interesting. It's almost like, okay, I just had like a flood. It's almost like, I'm being reminded of like, the apple representing temptation, and then like the apple's coming from out of her dress. So it's almost like you exposing temptation, or like the way in which you're able to tempt others angers this dragon, and they want to control you for it. But it's like the way in which you're able to tempt others almost at the very same time subdues this dragon, and they're unable to control you because of it. So this dragon I'm taking notice to almost has like rabbit ears, and I'm getting like, it's almost like it's paranoid of its position, even though it's placed itself there. For you, we have inner strength showing up. So you are someone who's showing up as someone who's courageous, someone who's brave, someone who does tame the beast. Okay, and then this person or this thing that's showing up as a dragon, it's showing up as something that is clinging like to you with its like death grip. Okay, it's like it's fearful of moving on, refusal to let go, stagnation, clinging, indecision, monotony, accepting your lot. Okay, part of this dragon's thing is like they think misery is their lot. So like part of them not being able to control, and then, I feel like you don't really belong to this dragon situation anyways, because it's almost like they've gotten you isolated. It's like you didn't belong to them, and then they sort of tried to own you, and then now they're upset that you still don't belong to them. So it's almost like a self-deception on their part, and then a projection onto you. And we have what the apples were, as far as like what your apples were. Like, so this is the energy that you naturally put out, and the energy they can't help but receive. Okay, this isn't energy you're trying to put out, but the energy you put out is feeling trapped, backed into a corner, hands tied, victimized, paralyzed by fear, terror, anxiety, feeling pressure, hopeless, helpless, powerless, silenced, crisis, dilemma, drama, imprisonment, punishment, slavery. And sorry, I was like absorbing there for a second, like and asking like why the apples, why the feeling of helplessness and hopelessness. We get the Three of Cups, which is quite confusing. This card discusses celebration and community and joy. And I asked for clarity. Why is it that friendship and community is what is the issue here? Well, it became apparent because why it's the issue is this person has commitment problems. This thing or this person. Okay, so like imagine if it's not a person, it's something that inherently you're not supposed to be connected to, so it's going to resist. Okay, it's like that. But if this is a person, and I'm getting for most of you it will be, the reason that this friendship, this perfect friendship was a problem is because they have emotional, like they're emotionally unstable. This person was acting out, okay? They're someone who breaks people's hearts. They're insensitive. They deal with this seduction, lies. They're immoral. Inaction. Okay, these aren't like judgments, although obviously you can make judgments on their actions, but the way in which they acted towards you would have been immoral. would have been insensitive. And this person overall, they lack independence, okay? I'm getting emotional independence. So when they connected with you and they felt that dependence, it was a trigger for them to prove to themselves in some way or another that they're not dependent. Okay, so they had to attack, make you feel trapped, make you feel hopeless and helpless, or put you, if they didn't attack, they at least distance themselves and make you feel alone. You were either attacked or left alone, okay? And the reason for that was because they felt the dependence on you growing. So it was a trigger for them to prove their independence, even though no one needed to prove anything. Like, you weren't asking, and you weren't even, it wasn't even a bothersome thing for you if they were dependent on you. It's not like you were going to abuse that or you weren't planning on doing it. But because they were unhealed, it felt like a threat to them to process that emotion. And so they acted out. How they're feeling now is that they love you and the love isn't returned. It's almost like they had to cause you this pain to realize, like, oh wait, I do want to be dependent. Like, hold on, don't go. They have a fragile sense of identity and poor personal boundaries. And so they may have even been codependent and then unable to even address that. And codependent and still cheating and stuff like that. Okay, so it's like, this person can't live without you and still they act like that. Okay, so it's very painful. And because you reacted to the pain, they think you don't love them anymore. You're actually in a new place. Like, as of right now, you're like, I think they're processing the karma of their scenario and you're kind of post-karma. Okay, right now you're showing up as a magician. Okay, so you have like all the tools under your belt. You have, your intellect is on point. Your heart is on point. Like, your feet are on point. Like, you're moving in the direction you want to, like, everything is going, perfectly for you at this moment. You're directing your will as you please. I'm going to read out to you what we get these last two cards, and then we're just going to wrap your messages up there. I think they were succinct enough. I asked the cards, okay, ask Spirit, can these two reconcile? We get, I think, our answer clear enough. We get the Tower and Ace of Cups. Okay, if you two are to reconcile, this old way of acting out, being uncommitted, acting independently, that will need to end. Okay, either old ways of this relationship will end and new beginnings separately will be had, or these old ways will die out like they're supposed to, okay, in terms of this relationship, and you guys can start anew. Okay, that is possible, but change has to be made, and this dragon of yours needs to be willing to make change, okay? Let's see what Spirit says about it, though. Will their dragon make change? Will their dragon make change? Well, your dragon is someone who's unconcerned with the feelings of others, so it's going to be hard for them to make the change. But I think, time is almost always the answer. Give your dragon time. If this is something you're wanting to do, is have the new beginning with them. Okay, instead of without them. If being in love with them is something that you want to do, then you will have to give them time, because like I said, your dragon is someone who is someone your dragon is someone who is someone that they do seem like they're someone who is someone. Okay, because they're a little bit full of themselves. So imagine, you're someone who's full of themselves. It's a little bit harder to learn lessons. And maybe they've learned a lot of lessons, and that makes it a little bit harder for them to learn a lesson because they're so sure of themselves. So maybe on this one, where they need to like, take a step back from their pride a little bit. It's hard, okay? Because they're used to just being like, fire breath. Like, no questions asked. I'm the dragon. I'm telling all y'all what to do. I set the stuff to flame. I set the fires. So when someone else, you walk in and you're like, you're starting the fire for your dragon, they're like, excuse me? That doesn't excuse any poor behavior. Like, it really doesn't. Like I said, this person, your dragon, will need to make change should they want to stay in your life. Okay, if they want to stay in your life, because they have a strong person here. They have someone who is worth the hard work. So if they don't want to do the hard work, okay, then go on. We're going to leave your messages there for today. If that was helpful or enjoyable or anything, leave a like and your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe so I can see you again. For now, though, bye.